Hey all, welcome to Monday, and a happy 4th of July to our American friends that are watching this because, of course, this Monday is the 4th of July. And also a belated Happy Canada Day to our friends in Canada as well, because that was Friday past, so it's all the same weekend, right? You probably didn't expect that we were going to have our usual countdown today because there was no countdown question put up last Wednesday. That's a mix of two things. We've kind of had some health issues going on around our neck of the woods here, as well there were some tech troubles. So I'm taking this opportunity this time to do a personal countdown list, something that people have asked me about before, and I've never really had the opportunity or never found the time to really do it, and you know what? Fate kind of ensured that this time I would. So this is going to be the top 10 most special Transformers in my own personal collection. That's going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light up my baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that in the description down below, also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. Yeah, I'm really thrown off. Can you tell I'm really thrown off? So the last week or so, I've been ill. So is Starscream Wife. It finally got us. The thing that shall not be said finally came into our neck of the woods, the Big C, and it's been a rough go. Also last week, I ended up with some tech issues, so I was not able to put up a usual countdown question. Don't worry, this coming Wednesday, we will go with our normal question, our normal fan voting. So sometimes people ask me to do a personal top 10, something that is my own picks rather than fan voter picks. So this is one of those weeks. It's a little bit of an easier countdown for me to do where I'm not feeling top notch, and it's an opportunity to kind of get a little bit of insight into me and sort of what I value and who I value, right? And these are the top 10 most special Transformers in my collection. And they're special for a number of different reasons. I want to give a couple of honorable mentions, certainly one honorable mention before I go on with this list. I also want to say that the list is not really in any specific order, so to speak, because it's when you're talking about something that is personally special to you, it's really hard to kind of rank it, you know? So I want to give a shout out in our honorable mentions to our buddy Joe Ford, who has afforded me many of the upgrade kits that I have. So I didn't include the upgrade kits as part of this list, but when you see me review an upgrade kit here, you hear Starscream Wife there coughing. When you see an upgrade kit here on the channel, 9 times out of 10 it's come from him. Not always, but a lot of the times it's come from him. Also, I want to give a shout out to our buddy Event Progenitor. Again, not all of them, but a vast majority of the toy hack sets that I have, that you've seen on the channel, come from him. So again, I didn't include either of those because this is the top 10 actual Transformers in my collection that are special to me, and they're special for different reasons. If my energy seems a little off, if I sound a little off, I apologize, but I didn't want the week to pass without giving you guys a countdown, so I hope that this one is enjoyable at least to you. Again, remember, unlike the fan vote, which is about as impartial as we can possibly get because it's based on, you know, majority vote, this one is a very personal, special one to me. And of course, this will be different for everybody because, you know, your special Transformers in your collection are special to you for different reasons as well. So we're going to do what we always do. We're going to kick things off with number 10, a first. Coming in at number 10 is this guy. Well, actually, kind of. This is the Generations Legends class Cliff Jumper. And really, the one here is not the Cliff Jumper. It is Bumblebee. But since I can't find the Bumblebee, though it's here in the house somewhere, and honestly, I'm just not feeling top-notch enough to go looking for it. In all honesty, I found the cliff jumper, so I'm going to use the cliff jumper. Why is this mold, I guess I should say, special to me? Because the first Transformer that Starscream Wife and the Scraplets gave me was the Generations Legends class Bumblebee. It's special to me because it was the first Transformer that the people who would become my family gave to me very, very, very early on. And it was something that showed just how much the people in my life were embracing, you know, my interests and my collection. It was a special thing to me. I don't remember the circumstances under why I got that now. I don't know if it was a just because thing, if it was a birthday gift. I really can't recall, but I do know that that was the very first kind of time that I got something from someone else, right? At that point, whatever I had in my minimal collection had been bought by me. And this was the first time that somebody had given something to me. Little would I realize the significance that the people who gave it to me would become in my life. Hard to argue with Bumblebee, represented here by Cliffjumper, taking the number 10 slot. Coming in at number 9 is this guy, Generation Sandstorm. Now, I was going to skip this guy back in the day. I had the Springer mold, and I was like, that's fine. I hardly remember this Sandstorm guy. And Starscream Wife at the time, not Starscream Wife, we were pretty much just friends at the time. She saw him and said, no, he's really cool, you should get him. And it was the first time that she had really voiced an opinion. Up until then, if I pointed something out, she'd say, oh, cool. But this was the first time that she said, no, you should really get him. He's really cool. And I picked him up, kind of on her suggestion, and lo and behold, I realized, you know what, this is a great mold. This guy's fun. I'm glad I listened to her. And then that would parlay later on with other characters, such as Black Shadow, which, again, I was going to skip, and she thought the better of. As a matter of fact, she got Black Shadow for me for my birthday, even though I was going to skip him. And guess what? The Titans Return Black Shadow was tremendous. So I learned, starting with this guy, that, you know what, when Starscream Wife says that something is good, or that something looks cool, or maybe I should get it, maybe I should trust those instincts, because so far, when she has made a suggestion to get something because it's good, she hasn't steered me wrong. And it all started with this guy as her first suggestion. And you know what? He was, is, and probably always will be an excellent version of this mold, and he takes the number 9 slot. Coming in at number 8 is one that I think a lot of people would not expect, and it's this. Yes, this is the Beast Hunters Arcee, of all things, and it's actually kind of broken right here. I don't know how it happened. Why is this one of the most special? This, honestly, it's not even one that's in my collection. It's in one of the Scraplets collections. This is special, and I included it because it's still in our house. Because, A, I thought it was pretty good, but this was the first Transformer that I gave the Scraplets. Many more would follow, but at the time, the Beast Hunters Deluxes were being sold here for $5. And I started off with this one, and I gave it to them. Actually, I bought two, one for them and one for me. And this was, of course, many years ago now. And mine had an issue. I actually had to return mine and get another copy. But theirs was fine. Now, this one's seen some better days, for sure. But this is what kind of started to forge a bond with me and the Scraplets over a shared interest. And that shared interest was Transformers. Many more would follow, but a $5 Beast Hunters Arcee is where it all started. And because it started to forge that bond between me and the Scraplets, gotta be important, and it takes the number 8 slot. Coming in at number 7, we have this guy. It is the Fall of Cybertron Voyager class Soundwave, and honestly, he's still one of the best Soundwaves going. I don't care what anybody says. Why is this guy, however, one of the most special in my collection? Well, again, this isn't actually in my collection anymore. It's in the house, but it's in one of the Scraplets collections. But it's still one of the most special because it is this guy who got me back into collecting. I had been out. I had a couple of fast action battlers, being Optimus Prime and Megatron. That's it. That's all that I had. I hadn't collected through Beast Wars or Beast Machines or Animated. I'd seen them, but I'd never gotten into collecting them. I'd watched the shows, had never gotten into collecting them. I'd even watched Unicron Trilogy, but I never really got into that. But when I saw this guy, and I'm not going to lie, when I saw this guy, I didn't know anything about the video games. Nothing. When I saw this guy in 2012, I want to say, I saw him on the shelf and I said, wow, he really looks an awful lot like the Soundwave I remember growing up. Now, I was remembering a little bit inaccurately, of course, and I knew he didn't turn into the cassette player, so he was certainly kind of stylized. But, you know what? Like, the color layout was generally right, the head sculpt was kind of right, the chest was pretty spot on. Like, I looked at it and I thought to myself, wow, that's a really great looking Soundwave, and I was compelled to pick him up. Quickly followed by Optimus Prime of the Fall of Cybertron line, which quickly became followed by Jazz, which quickly became followed by Shockwave, and everything sort of snowballed from there. But I guess the decade-long journey that I've had so far in the modern era of collecting and looking back at classics and Universe, I remember seeing all that on the shelf. I've added some of it to my collection over the years. I've reviewed some of it. I still have some of it to review, but it all, you know, opening the floodgates of the modern era of collecting for me all started with this guy. He was the linchpin to everything, and he takes the number 7 slot. Coming in at number 6, we have this guy. Actually, this set. This guy and Dirge. And I absolutely, positively cannot thank Masterfire enough. This set came to me from Masterfire. It is... He and I don't always see eye to eye on stuff, and that's cool. That's fine. We don't have to always see eye to eye. But since I started in YouTube some 6-ish years ago, one of the people that I interacted with early on was Masterfire. And over the years, we've certainly had our ups and downs, but I cannot thank him enough for sending this my way. I honestly don't know how I would have got it otherwise. It is special to me because I realize how rare this is, and I realize, it's funny, early on, he wanted to send something to me to review, but at the time he was certainly much younger. I mean, we're talking a decade ago, right? Well, not a decade, 6 years ago, right? He was certainly much younger, and I think at the time it didn't work out. The shipping was going to be too much. It was too much, right? Fast forward some years later, you know, everybody grows up, times change, you mature and whatnot, and he sent this my way. He didn't want anything for it. It was just, he sent it my way. He knew that here it was going to get kind of the love that the set needed, and it certainly is something that will appear as Universal Collision goes on. I understand the rarity of this set. I understand how hard it was to get. I understand how I waited 53 weeks before my order got canceled. I know how special this set is, and this is a perfect example of, you know, somebody not only doing something for someone else, but realizing that in doing so, you're really, really helping a fellow collector. It is this that really helps motivate me to help other collectors in my neck of the woods when I find stuff. I can't always pay it back, but I can certainly sometimes pay it forward. I cannot thank Masterfire enough for sending this my way, and Dirge, because otherwise I don't think I would have found an opportunity to have it. And that's why this set, thanks to him, takes the number 6 slot. And here we are at the most coveted of locations, the halfway mark. And at the halfway mark, we have one of the most humbling and generous offerings that I've ever had afforded to the channel by way of this guy and all of the other Pretender shells, as well as all of the bots that form Dinoking. This, of course, is Fansproject's iteration of the Dino Force with all of their Pretender shells. I don't have any idea. It's funny, I collected all of the combiners. I love the combiners. They're going to be huge for season 3 of Universal Collision. And I always like Dinoking better than Monstructor because I knew Dinoking from the Japanese series. I didn't really know Monstructor from the comics, but I understand like the coloration and whatnot, right? And I always hoped that they would do some sort of an updated version of Dinoking, and I always thought, you know what, Fansproject really nailed it with the shells. Enter our good buddy Razor Bear, who had it just in boxes, and he sent the entire set my way, and the shells my way. I was not only blown away, but I mean, I was beyond humbled. I sort of struggled with it because I said, I don't deserve this sort of help and this sort of kindness. I haven't done anything to deserve it. I really don't. But the fact that there are people out in the world who see what I do, what we as a community do here on YouTube, because I'm not the only person who has had something like this happen. But when you get that sort of support for what it is that we put out, for what it is that we try to give you guys, it becomes very humbling, and it becomes something that it's hard to wrap your head around, because you feel like you don't really deserve it, if that makes sense. Nevertheless, I can say this: I never, ever, ever get tired of the Combiner or these guys. I haven't yet managed to get deep into Season 3, but man, I can't wait to do it, and I already have a plan for all these guys. Dinoking and all of his Pretender shells take the number 5 slot. Coming in at number 4, we actually have like a 2-4, so to speak, and I'm going to represent it with this guy. This is the Commander class Rodimus Prime, but it was in box with the Arc, and both were sent to me by our buddy Ultra Megatronus. And when he wanted to send them my way, I said, man, no, come on, that's too kind, that's too much, right? And I knew that he was going to be able to send them far before they were going to be available in my neck of the woods, and indeed, such was the case. And for far cheaper than in my neck of the woods. Anyway, through the jigs and reels of, and that's what we say colloquially around here, through the odds and ends, jigs and reels, ups and downs, whatever you want to call it. He and I kind of went back and forth and talked about it, and he ended up sending it my way. I, to this day, feel like it was too kind and too much, but who am I to look a gift horse in the mouth? I value our community to such a degree that, again, much like with items from Masterfire and Razor Bear, something like this is not something I can really pay back, but it is something that I can help pay forward to other collectors in my neck of the woods. And I've certainly tried to do that. You know, one good turn deserves another. I don't know if I would have necessarily had this guy or the Arc had it not been for Ultra Megatronus, and I can't thank him enough, and that's why this takes the number 4 slot. And now we're into the top 3 most special Transformers in my collection. These aren't the best, these aren't the top, but they are the most special personally to me. And coming in at number 3 is, you know what? It's this. It is Cybertron. It is Primus. And I always wanted Cybertron. I knew that I had a use for it in Universal Collision. But every time I would see him online, it was really expensive. And I can remember how excited Starscream wife was. So much so that slightly before my birthday, she said, I can't hold it anymore. I gotta give you your gift. And it was a big square box. In fact, we call it the birthday box. In fact, we've used it many times since for occasions, and the box was nicely wrapped. It's always wrapped because you can just take the top off of it. And when I took the top off, lo and behold, inside was this guy. She found him complete, 100% complete, for 50 bucks Canadian. Like, it was a steal of a deal. Really a steal of a deal. She was proud of the deal. She was proud to have it. I think it was the proudest gift that she ever gave me, and I can remember not only the joy and the awe on my face, but I can remember the smile on hers, and when she looked at me and when she looked at the kids. Like, it was a moment of kind of sheer, I can't necessarily say joy, but sheer satisfaction of, yeah, that's the reaction I was looking for, you know? Like, it's so funny. I think I gave her the reaction she was looking for, and I could see her joy to that reaction. It's a really weird thing to explain. I don't think I would have had this guy. Certainly not for the price. Certainly not complete. She found not only a steal of a deal, but she did her homework and she worked it out in such a way that, you know what? I'm very lucky to have Primus to this very day, and very glad I do. And he took the number 3 slot. Coming in at number 2, we have a version of a character that I never ever second guessed that this was the version I wanted. To this day, I haven't second guessed it. I think it is my favorite iteration of this character, and the way that I got it was very special because I got it for my 40th birthday, and it's this guy. Oh, it is Wei Jiang's Ultima Guard. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the Siege Omega is great. I think Terminus Giganticus, if that's your Omega, is great. I think the Mech Fans Toys, the smaller one, the Dragon, I think it's called, great. I think the DX9's Gabriel, wonderful. But as soon as I saw this guy, I knew he was the Omega Supreme for me. And I can remember on a beautiful April day, I was driving back from work, and I was talking to my mother, and she wanted to do something special for my 40th birthday and give me something that I really, really wanted. And I talked about this guy, and she said, you know what, don't think about it. I said, I'd been thinking about buying him, right? She said, don't think about it. She said, do it. She said, do it, and it's going to be your gift from me. It's going to be that thing. Now, my mom, at times, has given me gift cards or checks or whatever that I've put toward certain characters. But this was the first time that there was a specific character that she said, get it, do it, and do it for your 40th. And I did it. This guy came from Show Z Store. And you know what? I never ever regretted it. The moment I took him out to now, there's nothing about this guy I don't like. There's nothing about him I don't like. I think he, to me, is the perfect Omega Supreme. He's not for everybody, but he is to me. And every time I look at it, I remember that 40th birthday. I remember that conversation. I even remember what the weather was like that day. And when I was driving back, it was a beautiful day in April. And it led to this awesome birthday gift for my 40th from my mom. How could this not be special to me? And he takes the number 2 spot. And here we are at number 1. This is the top one. This is the most special Transformer in my entire collection. Now, I've gone through on this list so far some really, really wonderful ones from my family, from friends, things that I gave to the scraplets. I mean, it's been, you know, a real kind of roller coaster ride of the people in my life that are important. And the bots that have that significant value. But coming in at number 1 is the one that I never, ever, ever get tired of. The one that I never, ever, ever complain about. Imperfections and all. And number 1 most special in my collection has to be, oh, Titan class Metroplex. I did not get this guy when he first came out in 2013. I remember seeing him at our local Toys R Us for $134.50. And I remember seeing him at our local Costco for $89.99. Never got it. And regretted it after. Because I wasn't really big into collecting then. Aftermarket, sometime later, Starscream wife happened to find someone locally who was selling it and talked him down to $90 Canadian. 90 Canadian. In box, his stickers, everything, 100%. I got him and I was immediately blown away. She was very proud of the deal that she had found. Now, I bought him, but I would not have found him. I would not have gotten him, and I certainly would not have gotten the deal I got without her. Since then, I've had people who have sent me Toy Hacks labels for this guy. Shout out, I believe, to Event Progenitor there, if I'm not mistaken. So he has a few of those on him. Not a lot, but some key ones. I also did some other work as well with some custom paint apps. I was kind of gifted Turret's Manacle for a birthday gift some time ago. Since then, I've added to him with the Siege 6 gun and the Kingdom, I don't know where he is right now, Slammer. I even managed to find a second of his Red Blaster at a thrift shop for $2.50. He is always a work in progress. Some people have said they want a more G1 version. Some people have said, this guy's not very good. This guy is stupendous. If you think he's not very good, then you have not explored this guy enough, I assure you. The one thing that maybe I wish he had is an ankle tilt, but there is an upgrade kit for that. I wish I'd gotten the upgrade kit. I think it was by DNA Design, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't seen it now in many years, but I'd be down for a reissue of it. I know that he doesn't fill the bill for some people for Metroplex, but he absolutely does for me, for what the price was. Compare him to every other Titan, and he is significantly better value for money than any of the other ones that we have gotten. I was lucky to get the deal I did in the aftermarket. I was lucky that my wife was able to find me, pardon me, such a deal. I am lucky that I've been able to add to this guy ever since. I never tire of him. I'm never not in awe of him. And when anybody asks me, who is the best Transformer in your collection, or who is your first Transformer, who's the Transformer you'd save if you could only save one, it always comes back to Metroplex, and that's why he takes the #1 slot. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We have gone from 10 down to 1 in a very special countdown list of the 10 most special Transformers in my personal collection. Some of them are special because, you know, they directly tie to my family, my wife, my mother, our kids. Some of them are special because of you guys, the community, the people who support what we do here on the channel. I always, when I start a video, say that I'm your host, your most humble of hosts. It's not just a line. It's the honest truth. I am humble, and I'm humbled because of each and every one of you. Let me know some of the most special Transformers in your collection and why they're special to you. I appreciate you guys coming by and giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. And I hope now you realize just how much I actually mean that when I say it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us. Especially don't forget that somehow, some way, man, every single day, each and every single one of you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres. That was Scorponok who fell over. Go figure. Or the old-fashioned way, right here, inside the videos.